So this is just going to be a quick summary. My last video cut off a second before I wanted it to, but remember, so your AP exam this year for European history is going to be one single DBQ questions. You will have 45 minutes to write it, and I believe 5 minutes to submit it. There's more information coming on that later in April. Hopefully they'll have some type of simulator that you can see what it's going to look like and go through the motions of submitting it. So you're not doing it the first time on test day. They said that'll be available in late April. You can have your notes and things like that out with you, but I'm telling you, if you think you're going to be able to prepare and get the answers from that, you're wrong. Think about how fast time goes. You need to be fully prepared when you sit down with that test. It probably wouldn't hurt to have this in front of you and maybe a cheat sheet or something like that, but you need to be fully prepared and studied and everything else ahead of time, or it's going to run you over. Contextualization, relevant background information related to the prompt. That four to five sentences, making sure you get that point, it's the first thing you do. That should lead directly into your thesis, where you make a claim, a defensible claim that is accurate, where you answer the question and give a line of reasoning. Make sure your claim does not counteract itself. There's a way of showing multiple viewpoints, so you can get that complex understanding point later on without contradicting your point. Again, I brought this up, evaluate whether it was fought for primarily or religious reasons. You can talk about both, but it was primarily fought for religious reasons, though France joined on the political side with that for political reasons. With that type of answer, you can argue all about religious reasons, but you can still get the complex understanding point for bringing up France and discussing that in detail. So you don't want to skip over on that. For this, describe the contents of at least two documents. Make sure that you are able to portray what that document is about and what it's saying. Make sure that you use at least 4 documents to support your argument. So you need to be able to get 4 documents to support your argument. I told you to do 5 in case you mess one up, and you can still earn both points. For 2 of the documents, because we want to earn 2 points there, not 1, explain the document's point of view or purpose or historical situation or audience. You don't need to do all of them. And if you're really good at purpose, do that for both of them. That you can use the same one. It just has to be for multiple documents. Again, you should do not 2 documents, but 3 in case you mess one up and you have a backup. You need 2 pieces of outside information that are relevant to the prompt and your thesis. They need to be 2 separate ones. They cannot be anywhere in the document. And again, it cannot be the same information that you had in your context. It has to be completely new information, has to contribute to your essay. It can't just be something random. It can't be off topic. It has to directly relate to the prompt and your thesis. And you want to do that in 2 separate occasions. And the last one demonstrates a complex understanding, explaining both similarity and difference, continuity and change over time, or multiple causes or multiple effects, or both causes and effects. It really depends on the type of question that it's asking you. Also, by connecting different time periods and showing connections. A lot of people try to force that, as I said at the end of my last video. Don't do that. If you're making connections across time period, make sure they're real connections that are, again, relevant to the prompt and your thesis. Everything in your essay should be related back to the thesis and answering the prompt. You don't want to go too off topic. You want to make sure your evidence is all very well explained, no drive-bys and so on, so we can get a full 10 out of 10 on this DBQ. If you have any questions about any of the information I went over, this is, so you can keep track of what documents you're using as you go along in your essay, so you know which ones you've already done. Again, always do 1 extra so you can get the points even if you mess one up. Knowing the content will help you with the outside information. I think it should be really easy to get those 2 points. If you have questions about any of this, please let me know. The work you put into this over the next several weeks is going to have a direct correlation on how you do. There's no more multiple choice, short answer questions, or LEQ. It's 1 DBQ question. So starting next week, we are going to focus so much on going through the documents and, not only explaining the how or why, um, not only explaining the document's point of view, purpose, historical situation, or audience, but also being able to make it relevant to the argument. When you use documents, you can say, in document number 2, or you can put doc whatever in parentheses. You can use these actual words of point of view, purpose, historical situation, or audience. Those aren't going to get you points that you don't earn, but it's a way to make sure you're showing the grader that you're including all of the things you need to. You still need to do it accurately, you still need to do it in depth, and you still need to relate it back to your prompt. But those are just things that make it easier on the grader to show that's what you're doing. I hope these have been helpful. Again, we're going to write a few of these coming up to get ready for the exam. You should be self-reflective and be able to grade your own and realize where you made mistakes. We're going to practice a lot going through the documents. 4 of them will be text-based, and then you'll have one that's either going to be a picture or graph or something like that. I hope these have been helpful. This is going to be my last video for this week. Since we're not doing the Regents exam, I'm not going to do a Cold War video right now. I'll save that for later. And everything we do from here on out is going to be related to this DBQ writing. So if you have any questions right now, don't wait until next week. Send me a message on Schoology about any one of these things or how to use it. If you have any questions about your LEQ feedback, so next week when we start going through documents and writing a DBQ, you feel confident in what you're doing. And each time we write a DBQ, you'll reflect it on yourself. I'll give you feedback, and we'll try to get better each time to hopefully earn a very good grade out of 10 when we take this on our exam. Take care, y'all.